One of the main lessons that we learned is that early strategic measures can help prevent any negative trends.
Today I am announcing 3 measured steps to support the long-term stability of Canada's housing market and continue to encourage home ownership by Canadians. First, we will require that all borrowers meet the standards for a 5-year fixed-rate mortgage, even if they choose a mortgage with a lower interest rate and or a shorter term. D'abord, nous allons exiger de tous les emprunteurs.
First, will we require that all borrowers meet the standards for a 5-year fixed-rate mortgage, even if they choose a mortgage with a lower interest rate.
This will help Canadians prepare for higher interest rates in the future. One must always guard against the temptation to take on more financial risk simply because interest rates are low. Our government is acting to help prevent Canadian households from getting overextended and acting to help prevent some lenders from facilitating it. If some lenders aren't willing to act themselves, we will act. Secondly, we will lower the maximum amount Canadians can withdraw in refinancing their mortgages. This is about mortgage refinancing now. We will lower the maximum amount Canadians can withdraw in refinancing their mortgages to 90% from 95% of the value of their homes. Ensuite, nous allons
Second, we will lower the maximum amount Canadians can withdraw in refinancing their mortgages to 90% from 95% of the value of their homes.
This will discourage the kind of mortgage refinancing that can create unsustainable debt levels as interest rates go up. We are encouraging people to build equity over time, using home ownership as an effective way to save rather than as a vehicle for quick cash. Thirdly, we will require a minimum down payment of 20% for government-backed mortgage insurance on non-owner-occupied properties purchased for speculation. Enfin, nous allons exiger
And finally, we will require a minimum down payment of 20% for government-backed mortgage insurance on non-owner-occupied properties purchased for speculation.
This will discourage the kind of reckless real estate speculation that could drive prices to unsustainable levels, which does not serve Canadian home buyers. Now, I brought some officials from the Department of Finance with me to answer any technical questions you may have. Let me close by stressing that today's measures are part of a larger picture. We will continue to closely monitor developments in the housing sector in Canada. There is no compelling evidence of a housing bubble, but we're taking proactive, prudent, measured, and cautious steps today to help prevent a housing bubble. Nous allons continuer.
We are going to continue to closely monitor the situation. There is nothing to date to indicate that there is a housing bubble, but we are nonetheless taking prudent and proactive measures in order to prevent this.
Taking action when necessary to support the long-term stability of a sector that is so vital to our economy and the financial well-being of Canadian families. With today's announcement, just as we have done before, the government is looking ahead and taking action now before there is a problem to protect Canada's economic recovery. A solid economy in uncertain times is a testament to the daily contributions of hardworking Canadians and sound Canadian economic fundamentals. Likewise, a solid Canadian housing market is a result of Canadians who understand that the way to financial stability and financial security is owning the roof over your head and paying down the mortgage. I'd now be pleased to answer any questions you might have.
Julian Beltram, Canadian Press.
Good morning, Minister. Some analysts had recommended lowering the minimum requirement, minimum down payment to 10%. I wonder why you didn't go in this direction.
Well, Julian, we monitor the market closely and constantly. We consult. I certainly consult with the financial institutions. One has to make an assessment of what appropriate measures are at a given time. On the one hand, we don't want to discourage Canadians from home ownership. On the other hand, we do want to discourage a tendency by some to use their homes as an ATM machine, the tendency by some to buy 3 and 4 condominiums, for example, by way of speculation. These are not the kinds of steps that fulfill the goal of affordable home ownership for Canadians. So one has to take a measure about what steps to take. And these are the steps that we've chosen to take at this time. If it were necessary to do more later, we would do more later. But as I say, there are no definitive signs of a housing bubble. There are some concerns, naturally, that interest rates will rise over time because they could hardly be lower. So we think we're being proactive in the 3 steps we're taking today.